Hello, welcome. If you joined me last month for our body positivity conversation, then you know who I am. For our new viewers, I am Lucy Little, the chapter member for Delta Alpha chapter of Beta Phi Omega Sorority Incorporated. And today we are talking menopause. Some women tell stories of hot flashes, mood swings, sleepless nights, and other inconvenient interruptions. And then there's other women who say, I didn't feel anything. But today we're going to dive into the topic of supplements, exercise routines, natural remedies, and everything in between. So we have a well-grounded group of ladies that are coming in to join this conversation. So let's bring them on in. First, we have my lovely soror, Leslie Oliver. And then we also have Ramil Jackson. She's a nurse. Can you guys take a few minutes to introduce yourselves, starting with Leslie?
Hello, everybody. My name is Reverend Leslie Oliver. I hail from Newark, New Jersey, and currently live in Charlotte. I am a visual arts educator here in the city, and I do social justice outreach here as well. I am 53 years old, and I am lovingly embracing menopause.
Yes. Ramil?
Okay, hello. I'm Ramil Jackson. I am a registered nurse with an associate degree. I am a member of Phi Nu Kappa Sorority Incorporated, and I am 48 years old. I am not so lovingly embracing menopause.
Fantastic. So we're going to dive right in because there was a lot of questions that people sent in prior to this. So I want to make sure we get to everything. So the first question is, what the heck is menopause? What is it exactly? What's happening over here?
Well, I'm not the professional on the subject, but I would define menopause as a milestone in a woman's life. It signifies to me that I'm not young, I'm not old, but I am older. It is a transition that my body needs to go to embrace the next level of living. That's how I define it, to make myself feel better about it.
You know what? But I love that definition because when we think of menopause, people just think of all of the negative connotations that come with that, and we'll speak to that a little more. But it's a beautiful transition. That means I'm transitioning to a different level of where my life is, right? And I think that we should be embracing that more. And that's why this is called positively menopausal. Because we don't want to just talk about the negative things. We want to talk about the beauty and getting to this stage. Because some people don't make it to this level. But we're here. You did, right?
Absolutely.
What about you, Ramil? What about the more technicalness of it all?
Okay, so technically, menopause is when the estrogen levels in your body, all women have estrogen levels. And during the time that you are having cycles regularly, you have a higher estrogen level. The estrogen level begins to drop at a certain age and time in your life. And when that starts to drop, your ovaries begins to slow down producing the egg that creates the cycle and sometimes a baby. So so really it's just about the estrogen level in your body decreasing, and all of those things that you go through have to do with those estrogen levels.
Okay, so when those estrogen levels drop like that, that what's causing all of the side effects that we're feeling? That we're
Everyone.
not doing? Okay. So
Mhm,
Leslie, what are
everyone.
some of your side effects that you have experienced going through menopause currently? Leslie,
Um,
we can't hear you.
I had an hysterectomy at 45.
Okay.
Um, and now that I look back, I started noticing leg cramps, irritability. Pray for my spouse of 18 years, Michelle. Kill me. Irritability, especially mood swings for sure, leg cramping, and the night sweats kind of tapped me on the shoulder at first, but then they came full force. So what's most prominent is probably the irritability of the mood swings and definitely those night sweats. The leg cramps come and go, but those night sweats, ooh, not mine.
So leg cramps, that's a new one. I don't get people saying leg cramps often. So is that something that's normal, Ramil?
Yes. A lot of people, what you hear about often are the hot sweats. But it's very common that you have muscle aches, you have leg cramps, you have all of these things that normally you would think is a pulled muscle or is a common cold, even chest, arms, legs, your joints. Arthritis is a lot of times misdiagnosed as menopause because the estrogen, once again, as it decreases, all of those things affect your muscles, your bones, your a common thing is people get osteoporosis
Mm.
after menopause or during menopause because those estrogen levels actually drain the calcium out of your body.
Wow.
Hmm.
And so those where the leg cramps and stuff like that come from.
Okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Makes sense. So what about you? I know you're postmenopausal. So
Yes.
what did you go through?
So I did not have any pains. I didn't have any aches or anything like that. My wife actually probably diagnosed me before the doctor did. Um, she was like, I don't know what's going on, but every month you going crazy. You just going crazy. I don't know what the problem is. And I wasn't missing cycles yet. It was
Mm,
she noticed the irritability before the cycles were missed.
mm,
Um, Maybe at the time that other people start going right before having cycles,
mm.
a lot of people have like aches and pains and that kind of stuff. I was having irritability maybe 3 or 4 days before a cycle for months at a time, and until she brought it to my attention. And I was only maybe 43, so that's kind of young. So I didn't, that was the least thing that I thought of. So I didn't want to believe it. But I did go ahead and go to the doctor, and she ran blood tests. And that's actually the only way to diagnose menopause.
See, that was my
It-
next question. Do you have to go to the doctor to say I'm
yes,
menopausal, or can
yes,
you
you
just
do.
experience all these things and see, gosh darn it, there we go?
Because I
Please,
didn't. So
please
You
do
I
didn't go
not
to
let
do
the doctor,
that.
I
Leslie?
haven't had my levels tested. I just
Okay.
experienced it. So you give me some food for thought. Yep.
Yes, please do that.
Go to the doctor.
Because just like I said, things happen that, like the leg pain, that could have been anything. There's a lot of things that could stop, make you not have a cycle. So you don't want to automatically feel like, oh, I'm a certain age, I'm probably going through menopause. You may be pregnant.
So basically,
Ah.
you telling us to stay off the WebMD.
Yeah. Yes. Stay off WebMD. WebMD will have you with all kind of diagnosis.
Right. So, Leslie, let me ask you this: why didn't you go to the doctor when you started feeling the differences in your body?
Because I had that black woman thinks she know everything attitude, and halfway didn't want the doctor. So I've been to the doctor since, but didn't ask about menopause. My therapist did tell me to get my levels checked because some of the things I was sharing with her, he said, "Have you had your hormone levels checked? You know what's going on." So that's just poor follow through from my therapist on my part, not really wanting to know the answer, maybe, or thinking I have the symptoms. That's good enough to know. But being educated and informed officially is always best. So I kind of dodged what the therapist told me to do, thinking I knew something. And so I figured, let me just brave it. Let me just, because I thought it was just my attitude because I was in a funky mood at the time. But she did tell me to go. So I should have been already.
I see the comments. I'll just stay off of WebMD. Okay, that's
Please do.
and that's that's the big thing though. We as women, especially women of color, we think that we have superpowers, right? And that we
Mhm.
don't need to go to the doctor, and that we can fix it at home, and we got home remedies, and everybody think that Robitussin can fix everything, but it
Castor
can't.
oil.
And
My grandmama said castor oil does it all. So hey.
right. And then sometimes when you feel, especially because we know our own bodies, we know when something's different, we know when something's off, and it's okay to go to the doctor to
Yeah.
get that confirmed
Yeah.
because
Please do.
you
Yeah.
can't really get the proper medication or the proper treatment if we don't have it written down and like we don't have a confirmed what's going on. Robitussin and ginger ale, that was a
There
good
you go.
solution. Your arm broke, dip it in Robitussin, it starts to heal itself.
And lay
Drink the
down
ginger ale and you all right.
and go lay down. Go to bed.
I swear I took Robitussin for everything. So look, there is such a negative connotation when you think of menopause. When I was doing research about menopause, everything was these women with these ugly faces, sad faces. The conversation was always negative.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Well, overall, anything related to women, you don't hear the positive being accentuated. Someone's always talking about our skin, our bodies, our the way we wear our clothes, our reproductive organs. No one has anything positive to say about us. Using us all the time, no less. So, it's the narrative. It's the narrative. There's not a positive narrative out there. Until I heard India Ari first song, the video song, and then the hair song. I mean, I wasn't hearing messages about my body or my hair or anything like that. And still very few and far between. So people do what they learn. They learn what they see. You don't see positivity, then you're not going to think about it. That's why it's important for us as Black women, especially
Yeah,
if we have
oh,
nieces and little cousins and daughters, to teach them and educate them to become informed of their own, love their bodies, tell them from the time that they're babies, they feel something funny or something looks funny, don't shame them. If their clothes fit the way they fit, don't shame them. And if they don't feel good, their bodies don't feel good, sit in the doctor's office with them. Let them ask questions, answer their questions, have the doctor confirm. That's why we have to do stuff like you're doing with this Zoom right now.
Yeah, it's like
Communicate.
Latoya. I saw where Latoya put in there. People think menopause equals
equals
old,
old.
and that's the conversation. Like that's what I want to change. Like, why don't we have like these ceremonies to embrace menopause? When you go, like,
Yeah,
let's celebrate that next day. Why don't we have a party for that? You have a divorce party. You have
that's
a
right.
party when you get married. Why not
Yep.
have a party to celebrate that I have now made it to a different level in my life? And that way we can start taking the stigma out of the conversation about menopause.
Yep.
Like, what is some benefits? Are there benefits of menopause?
Well, growing older gracefully. It's a blessing. Every day I look at the news reports, I'm just grateful to be alive, especially when you consider your own personal narratives. To be
Mm-hmm.
able to transition into the next level of womanhood, that's a badge of honor. I remember reading about that on the continent, how every major stage of life was celebrated, coming into
Mm-hmm.
womanhood, coming into manhood. I mean, so I am proud to be entering menopause because this is a new phase of life. So what's in it for me? My mom is 75 and just was looking as glorious as ever. I'm in my 50s now, so I'm ready to live life as a full, show enough grown woman. That is a badge of honor. And so the benefit of menopause is the younger years are behind me, the older years are ahead of me. Let's get on the boat and see what goes on.
What
Mm-hmm.
about you, Emil? What do you say the benefits of menopause?
So I think that, and this is not from a medical standpoint. This is just personally. I really feel that at the time of menopause, my life became calmer. I became calmer.
Yes.
Um, I had patience. I don't know if the estrogen had me hyped up or what, but I have the patience that I did not have before. I am calmer. I am more aware of myself and my body. Um, I practice better healthcare standards and taking care of myself, and understanding that now that I'm in this part of my life, I have to embrace it, because hey, guess what? Now I don't have to worry about the trials. I don't have to worry about vacations and taking pads and tampons everywhere. I can go travel. That's the real benefit right there. When you don't have to pack that stuff. I
Yes.
Okay,
can
so Latoya puts in there benefits of menopause is no more periods. But
exactly.
but what you said was when you were going through yours, you still had a regular period. So
Yes.
everybody doesn't get to reap that benefit, right?
Not at all. Um,
Mm.
So why is
eventually,
that? Why do some people still get it and then some people don't?
it is the release of the estrogen,
Mm.
depending on how fast your body releases the
Mhm.
estrogen, and the levels go down. If you have levels that are even slightly above normal, you'll still have the cycles
Mhm.
as it goes down. And another thing that people don't realize is that menopause does not have a certain age. Um,
Everybody's unique.
Yeah.
Old wives' tales told us that whatever your mom, when she stopped, that's when you're gonna stop. When your grandma stopped, that's when you're gonna stop. That is not the case.
Right.
There's no rhyme or reason about it. It just happens.
Mhm.
You will eventually stop having the cycles. That's a wonderful thing. It really is. But it may not be for a year. Actually, menopause. There's three stages of menopause,
Yeah,
which is
talk about those three stages. Yes, good.
okay. So the three stages of menopause is perimenopause.
Okay.
That is when you hear the people talking about some little aches and pains, and something just doesn't feel right with my body. I'm starting to get hot at night and odd times, and I need a fan in the winter time. That kind of thing. Or I'm very irritated. I don't even know why. I catch myself snapping at people for no reason. That is perimenopause kicking in. That's stage one.
Okay.
Um, Okay, so then when you do get to the stage where you're not having a cycle regularly, not that you're not having one, but you're not having it regular. If you've been a person that's every 28 days, it may start coming every 30 days, every 32 days. It may come 12 days. It might come twice a month. When those differences start happening, you are in menopause. That is the time that your body is actually going through those changes and beginning to calm down and get ready to stop.
So
That
that's
can go
stage
on.
two is the
Yes,
actual
stage
physical
two.
menopause.
Yes,
Okay.
stage two can go on for years.
All right.
Yes,
Okay.
stage two can go on for years. It can be
Wow.
6 months. It can be 6 years.
Mm.
Wow.
Wow.
Stage three is postmenopause. Postmenopause is not diagnosed and is not confirmed until you have not had a cycle for a total of 1 year, period. If you don't have a cycle for 4 months and it comes, you are not in postmenopause. You are
Okay.
still in menopause.
Wow.
Oh, I haven't came on in 6 months. I'm done. Hallelujah. No, ma'am.
Wow.
All right. You still got more to go. Okay.
You have more to go. 1 year.
All right. So when you get to the postmenopausal stage, how is your body? How, because you're in that place right now. So how is your body different than the actual menopause?
Okay, so postmenopause, your body kind of starts to return to normal as far as how you feel.
Hmm.
But what you have to watch out in postmenopause is your vitamin levels are lower. So you may want to start at that time to take a supplement. You want to get vitamin B, vitamin D, vitamin E back.
Okay.
Um, those are the things that the estrogen has pulled from your body. And a lot of people, if without those vitamins, develop osteoporosis.
Okay.
Oh,
That is where your bones start softening, and that's just because it doesn't have the vitamins and the nutrients in it. You want to exercise. You want to start. Okay, I'll answer that in just 1 second, Latoya. You want to start exercising. Um, people Well, we'll get into. I know someone had some questions about the hormone therapy, so we'll get into that in a minute. But
Yeah.
as far as your body, just really after postmenopause is you kind of feel a little weaker, so you want to just keep those vitamins up. You want to eat a little better. Just take better care of yourself. You want to rest. You want to get some rest. It's no
I'm
such.
sorry. I'm sorry. 1 second. Can you say that again for Leslie? I don't think she heard.
Leslie, Leslie. Hello, Leslie. Rest, honey. Yes, all those 7 jobs you have, rest. Hmm.
okay.
Uh-huh.
Yes,
But
ma'am.
I do want to talk about the second stage in menopause.
Hmm.
That is the point that people have the most symptoms other than the hot flashes. Your body goes through these changes. There's a big change that I know someone had mentioned in a question that they sent in, which was vaginal dryness.
Yeah, we're gonna hold off on that because there was like a whole little thing about this, like,
Okay.
and sex drive. So we want to talk about the whole sex drive thing. But I do.
Okay.
Can you answer Latoya's question? Like, 11 months without it, then it came back. Is that normal? Is that something you can
Yes.
expect?
That you can expect that happens. That's why I said it could be 6 months, 10 months, 11 months, and it'll come back. A lot of times when it came back, I don't want to ask you personally about your experience, but sometimes when it comes back, you will know what'll happen is it'll be one day, it'll be spotting, or it'll be a very heavy flow. It'll be some type of abnormal situation. It won't be like the cycle that you normally had when you were before menopause. And that's kind of your body's last little hoorah, like hello. And
It's
so
going
yeah,
out with a bang.
it's going out with a bang. So don't be alarmed if it's not like it should be or like you expect it to be and it's normally been. That's all part of the process, honey.
Okay. Now, understanding your options when it comes to menopause. So you started to talk a little bit about hormone therapy. What is hormone therapy treatment? What is the purpose of it? How does it work? And is it necessary?
Okay. I cannot tell you that whether it's not necessary.
Okay.
That is something that you have to decide for yourself. I do tell you that weigh your options. Talk to your doctor about it. There are two sides. You can either have hormone replacement therapy, which is a estrogen. That's an appeal. The doctor will give you a pill, and that increases your estrogen levels back to normal. And the benefit for that is that it helps, get those vitamins back in your body. It helps with the osteoporosis. It helps with ovarian cancer.
Mm.
Ovarian cancer is something that can happen after menopause, and so that little pill that they give you has all of these things that you need in it to try to curb those effects.
So, Leslie,
Um,
let me ask you this. Now that we're talking about the hormones, because you said you haven't been to the doctor, is that something that you think that you would consider taking the hormone treatment? Do you feel it's necessary for you where you are?
I don't feel it's necessary. I don't like pills as it is, and I take quite a few already for my blood pressure and whatnot. I'll talk about it with the doctor, but I don't think it's necessary for me. I'm managing now as best I can. I'm doing okay. Going to the doctor and following through with that appointment will probably make me feel a whole lot better.
Hmm.
I am not so sure that I want to do the therapy unless it's life threatening, and I probably won't do it. I could do the exercise and the other vitamins, vitamin B, but
Don't
the
forget the rest part,
replacement,
Leslie. Don't forget the
well,
rest.
I'm working on that. I'm getting better at that. But I believe if the lifestyle, a health lifestyle, can complement with the medicines that I'm already taking, uh, and I just want the body to do what it normally does. Like a lot of times we grow up in a society that's to take this, take that, take that, take this. But I just want to live and live righteously and healthily, and hopefully that will be enough, and take what I have to take. So if the doctor tells me you don't have to do this, it's just an option, I'll probably leave it alone more
Okay.
than
yeah,
likely.
it's
So that
definitely
is
an
definitely an option. So let's talk about what are some holistic options if we like, people who don't want to take the little pill, right? What can we do outside of taking medication to work with menopause and kind of offset some of the things that's happening inside of our body we have no control over?
right. So as I said before, you want to rest. You want to start exercising.
Hmm.
Um, those vitamins that I spoke of, you can also get in foods.
Yeah.
So it goes back to way back when they told you about those green leafy vegetables and eating, 6 small servings a day, that kind of thing. You want to just change those things and do that. With exercise, it's not even a lot. If you just walk 30 minutes a day, your body will do things you just never would expect. And water.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Water, I cannot say enough about drinking water. There you go. Ladies, lemonade and tea is not water.
It has water in it.
Yes, lemonade and tea is not water, but drink your water, walk 30 minutes a day, get some sleep, get some rest. Your body calms down at those times. If it's well hydrated, if it's well fed, if you are resting, you very well may not even need anything. Like I don't take anything. Um the one herbal thing that I hear people speak on all the time is black cohosh.
What is
Black
that?
cohosh.
Right. Let me write that down because I ain't never heard of that one before.
Black cohosh is black cohash. And it comes in many forms. It's a tea. You can put it in tea. There's a liquid form. There is a peel form. It is the miracle herb. All of those, all of the estrogen that your body loses, black cohosh has.
Okay. What are some other vitamins specifically can we call out that we can take? I may have missed that.
Vitamin B,
B.
vitamin D, and vitamin E.
So
So
BDE.
BDE.
Sound like a singing group. Okay, go
Yep,
ahead.
BDE. Get your BDE in. And you know what? Like Leslie was saying about the pills, you don't want to take all of those pills. Get you a good multivitamin. Make sure
I
that it
take one.
has yes, make sure that it has those 3 vitamins in it. Um, and pop that 1 a day pill, take a gummy, all of those things work.
Okay.
Hmm.
Now, switching gears for a little bit because this was a question that was brought in. Let's talk a little bit about forced menopause, or what's the other word that they use for it? Artificial menopause. What is that?
Wow.
So that is when a lot of people have hysterectomies at that time. Fibroids is another cause of forced menopause.
Oh.
Um, when your body is having fibroids and having problems that are unhealthy for you, your body is under a lot of stress. As women, our bodies is always under stress. So there comes a point when you are having different things going on, and the doctor will determine, okay, this is doing more harm to you every month or every week or whatever than if we just stop the cycles.
Mm.
That's when they call forced menopause. There are several ways that they do it. There's medication that can stop you from having a cycle. And then
Wait,
there's
I'm
also
sorry. Let's back up. You said there's meditation.
medication.
Oh, I
Medication.
thought you said meditation. I was like,
Medication.
wait, this,
No, not
then I got to sit in
meditation.
the room. I was like, okay, okay.
Now
Medication.
you can
Okay.
try to medicate and pray it off, but probably it's not going to work. So they give you medication, or the more common thing is the hysterectomy,
Okay.
and that can be a partial or full hysterectomy.
Yes, Leslie.
Um,
I feel like you got something coming up out of you.
come on.
I'm thinking that perhaps I underwent a forced menopause.
Ooh, we having revelations in this moment. Okay, talk about
Okay.
it.
Well, when I had my daughter, the doctor discovered fibroids, but she said they're fine. They're not going to bother you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so around 2000, I was having heavy cycles, like heavy. I had to wear the overnight pads.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the tea is when I first told my doctor at the time, she couldn't do it. She said she couldn't do anything. But once I got better insurance, all of a sudden she could do something. So for a year, I walked around in pain and just tired. I wasn't driving either. So I was tired, trudging up the hill to my apartment. When I got better insurance, okay, now we can see what's going on. What? The justice in that, first of all.
That's a whole
Then
nother
when
conversation.
I went to the doctor and had the necessary test, he was like, well, yeah, uh, I think that we're gonna have to go ahead and do a partial hysterectomy because you're bleeding a lot and your uterus it's just not going to keep you healthy. Let's just take it out. I remember having that conversation and being so weary from the heavy cycles and the fatigue and the loss of blood. I was like, okay, I wish I had been more informed about the process.
Yeah.
Because when I had the surgery, I remember waking up from the anesthesia and weeping to my mom, my womb is gone. I lost my womb. I was hysterical. I still have my ovaries, my tubes, my uterus is the only they took. But I remember grieving that and wondering, was this necessary? It's too late to do anything, but I certainly grieved it, right? And so, what if there could have been another alternative? I
And
believe,
so, did they not tell you that like menopause, being forced into menopause, is going to be one of the things that could possibly happen when you have a partial hysterectomy? Were you not given that
no,
information?
I was not. My
Mm.
my female doctor should have had that conversation
Yeah.
before I went to the male specialist. And he gave me a lot of information, but that conversation did not happen. It was, oh, let's get you over here so they can take care of you and do what you need to do, stop this bleeding.
Hmm.
That conversation was missing. But now I'm
Mm.
wondering, what could have been the trajectory for my life had I had that conversation. So for my daughter's sake, certainly, and my spouse's sake, we will definitely make sure that those conversations are in place. So now we
Mhm.
can think about the women around us who don't know this. Because I'm just
Mm.
learning this now, you know? Yeah.
So I'm reading the comments. They said, I feel like I have some time, but is there anything I can do to lighten the symptoms now so when it comes that it's not so bad? So is there anything you can do before menopause, perimenopause, menopause happens that you can kind of prepare your body for it?
Get your body right, start eating right, start exercising, start drinking that water. The healthier you are entering into that time in your life, the easier that the process will be when you transition over into perimenopause and menopause and postmenopause. Yeah,
So basically, I'm here and get my Angela Bassett on
get it together. Get it together.
because she living right.
But
um,
let me tell you this: I saw that you
mhm.
said your mom had a hard time. That does not mean that you will have a hard time. That is a myth. It's a myth that whatever your parents had, when they stopped, you're going to stop. When if they had a hard cycle, if they had, you know, anything like that, it's a myth. It's not necessary that you would have the same process, but you know, it doesn't hurt to get your
Yeah.
life right.
So, like, yeah, my mom had little to no symptoms when it came to menopause, but my aunt is still having hot flashes years later.
Mhm,
And so
mhm.
it's
For whatever
definitely
reason.
very unique and very different based off of you and your life. Shame on the doctors. I agree. Shame on the doctors for not giving Leslie the full scope of the
Exactly.
information that would,
Shame, shame.
yeah. That's terrible. But that's a whole nother conversation. How doctors undervalue women and what we believe and what we say, especially women of color, and they just rush us through a process and don't
Mhm.
really care about our health. So that's a whole nother conversation.
Don't let them do that.
Listen, that's unfortunate. So
Yeah.
let's talk a little bit about because we are going to talk a little bit about some myths that happen when it's associated with menopause. Let's talk about a little bit about menopause within the trans community.
Hmm.
So, a person that identifies as transgender, do they still have to worry about menopause?
Yes.
Okay.
Um, Transgender people still have the same hormones.
Hmm.
They The medication that they take um, alters those hormones,
Hmm.
but the levels of hormones still rise and fall.
Wow.
Hmm.
So um, though they may begin testosterone. Testosterone has a little bit of estrogen in it.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
Hmm.
Women gonna run the world whether you want us to or not. Okay. So
Period.
those levels that when the testosterone is what they call T, when that begins to increase, what happens? The estrogen is now decreasing. So sometimes they will it'll actually, I guess, appear to be forced menopause. It can, it can appear to be forced menopause. Right, Latoya, too much testosterone converts to estrogen. That's
So
exactly what
either way it
happens.
goes, you can still end up in menopause
Yes, you can.
unexpectedly, unintentionally, I should say.
Unintentionally, and it'll be, what we just said was forced menopause. Now, um, somebody
He
just said
said.
that they didn't have any symptoms, that somebody who was a trans man didn't have any symptoms of menopause. It just varies. Some people don't and some people do. It kind of goes back to your body, and there's no rhyme or reason, what can happen, but be aware that it's possible,
Yeah,
to go
I was
through.
reading something somewhere, and it says anybody that still has female reproductive system
They can go
who
through menopause.
identifies as man but has not had any medical intervention is likely is going to go through menopause eventually. So
Yes.
there is the high chance of it happening. There are those one-offs where you are fortunate enough not to have experienced it, but at the end of the day, that is something that we need to be concerned about with our trans community, and we should have those conversations with them as well. If my cycle goes from 7 to 2 to 3 days, does that mean I'm going through menopause? Or does it mean that she may just have an irregular cycle? So does that
Yeah,
go
that goes.
go
Yeah,
back
that
to go to
definitely.
the doctor?
Yeah, that definitely goes to your body and changes. There's no way for sure to know if you're going through menopause besides going and having hormones drawn.
Yeah, I was just having that same conversation with a friend, and we were talking about like, did you go to the doctor and ask them to check your hormones? She was like, no. I was like, I'm gonna need you to do that because I feel like that's where she is in her life. But until you get that check, you really just don't know, and you just speculating, and you don't want to speculate about your health,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
I do want to take a moment out and say, as we always do, this conversation is being brought to you by the Women of Beta Phi Omega Sorority Incorporated. If you have any questions about our organization, feel free to check us out on our website at www.betaphiomega.org. So, yeah, thank you, Beta, for always having these great conversations. Someone brought up myths about menopause. What are some myths about menopause?
Hmm. Hmm.
So one thing I hear is, oh, you can't get pregnant once you go through menopause. Is that true?
Depends on the stage that you are.
Yeah.
If you're perimenopausal, you absolutely can get pregnant. If
Okay.
you are in menopause but not post menopause, you absolutely can get pregnant. There are
Okay.
menopause, there are change of life.
Hmm.
That's when you hear about the change of life
Baby,
babies.
babies.
Mhm.
Wow.
Yes, because ladies, just because we're not having a cycle does not mean that the egg is not dropping out of the fallopian tube into your uterus.
Teach
Mm,
us. Yep.
And
mm.
if you eat sperm there, there's a baby coming.
So basically, still be careful. Don't be out here
Yes,
being
please do.
reckless.
Please do.
Okay. Let's see. We were talking a little bit about this, and I wanted to make sure that we give it its full attention. Another myth is about your sex life. Your sex life is over when you're
Nope.
in menopause. Is that
That is a myth. In fact, in
You own
fact,
it.
no, there's no death to your sex drive because that's mental anyway. So your body is going to transition. It always will. So that's a myth. I can take that myself. That is a myth.
so?
No.
A part of that question was because someone else inside's falling out.
Oh no.
You
What?
may feel like it some days, but they're definitely not going to fall out.
Yeah.
Imagine insides falling out. If your
Wow.
insides falling out, go to the doctor.
Yeah, that's
Do
something
not
else.
pass
Emergency
go.
room. Go
That's
to the
something else. That's
emergency
not
room
menopause.
Pick
That's
them
not
up, put them in a bag, and take them with you.
with ice. Put it on ice and head over.
menopause.
There's no way your inside should be falling out. But in regards to the sex life, so how is sex different during menopause?
Hmm. Well, I have found that the intimacy, you certainly have to be, for me, I've had to become a bit more creative because as the body changes, you have to find ways to achieve pleasure different from you have before. So it's more mental for me. It's more of the intimacy, more of the foreplay for me. And you just gotta find different pleasure points. Definitely do your research and just by research I mean spend time with your body and get to know what it likes.
Now that we're
Find
in it,
new
yeah.
places, new things, and new ideas and new thoughts. The same way we go to study for all these degrees, study yourself.
Mm.
Find different ways to create moments for yourself. But nothing will die. If your heart is willing and your mind is fresh, then your sex drive will not die. It
Yeah.
became more mental than physical for me, because the mind controls the body. So, yeah.
What about you, Ramil? How has your sex life changed since menopause?
So I saw somebody say something about dryness um and fatigue. What for me, and this is common during the time. Oh, somebody's
All
okay,
right.
right,
Amen,
right,
Ishay.
right.
Oh my
Amen.
word!
Amen. Amen to that one.
So there's a varying degree. Some women can actually just be mental. You're tired, your body's going through these changes, so you just don't feel like having sex. And there's nothing wrong with your body. It works. Your mental just is not there. And that's okay. You have to, as she said, mentally make up in your mind that you want to overcome this, especially if you have a partner. It's you have a partner that's there all the time. Is it really their fault that you're going through menopause? So do you just say, oh well, so You
You
have to
better toot it and boot it. Don't
exactly. You
That's
mentally
right.
prepare, and like Pastor said, get creative, you know. But there are people also that have either or the dryness, or they become overly moist, and and that goes with the hormone levels. They're up and down. Some days it may be like water, and some days it's like dust. So what do you do about that? You get natural water-based lubricant.
Okay, say that again. Water-based
Water-based. Do not
lubricant.
use
Do not get
oil-based
no
lubricant.
baby oil or no petroleum jelly trying to
Exactly.
get it hot. Okay.
Let
No.
me tell you what is going to happen if you get oil-based lubricant and then someone has a condom on.
Mm,
The oil is going to thin that condom, and you are going to be in jeopardy of it breaking
okay.
and
Wow.
whatever happens after that.
Mm,
So always use water-based lubricant, not
mm,
only for the thought of condoms, but also your body has natural chemicals that we all know, and those scented things, those oil fragrances, those the creams that are in oil lubricants can irritate your body, and you're
Right.
already going through a process. You don't need the extra. So
okay.
get you a water-based lubricant.
Keep it simple.
Ladies, I have heard a lot of people talk about using no Crisco
Please
and
no Crisco.
no coconut oil.
Oh, people do out here using coconut oil?
Coconut oil. It is so
Wow.
common. I hear it a lot.
Mm,
That people are using, like even speaking with other people when I was going through menopause, it was like, if you start having dryness, use coconut oil, get the pure coconut oil. Do not
Oh,
get coconut oil.
no.
Body
no.
different, please.
Mm,
No,
Okay.
no.
Just some
mm,
water-based lubricant will do the trick, and you will be fine.
mm.
Um, if you are having overactive hormones and you're getting what you feel is too wet, um, for that, you just kind of want to make sure that before you have sex, or any time throughout the day, you take a shower, you dry off really well, and you just kind of want to relax. Meditation. Your body is That's just a part of your body overreacting, so it's
Mm.
overproducing. So
Yeah.
you just want to calm down. Don't get upset about it. And no, that's not bad at all, Toy.
Listen. They said everybody out here looking for that WAP.
Yeah,
Okay, they made a whole song about that
Okay.
WAP.
Praise
Okay,
the
somebody's
Lord
gonna
for it.
appreciate
It's a
you
gift
that.
from God.
And speaking of which, let me just say that after postmenopause, even if you go through a time where you're not interested in sex during or during the second stage of menopause, that's normal. That's natural. Your body's going through a lot. And we all know when we don't feel good inside, nothing
yeah,
else works.
right.
But oh, it comes back.
It comes
There
back.
is hope for you yet, honey.
Hey,
Postmenopause.
glory.
Hallelujah.
Glory.
Hallelujah, honey. That's the joy. It comes back with a vengeance.
So basically, hold on. Help is on the
Hold on.
way.
Help is on the way.
Have
Help is
Mhm.
on
faith.
the way. All
Help
right.
is on the way.
So speaking about that, because like you were saying that just because your body is going through changes and you have a partner doesn't mean they still have needs as well. But not just speaking about your partners because you both are married. What about your family members? Like, how does going through this process affect the people around you?
Well, my family's not doesn't live close to me, but certainly I'm a teacher, and so kind of backfires on me, especially the mood swings and the irritability. If I catch myself in a mood or I'm feeling some kind of way, I usually try my very best to meditate or do some kind of mindfulness or keep soft music on in my classroom, chakra cleansing music all day, just to keep me at a particular place, so that even just so that the atmosphere is just calm, and then whatever that inner challenge or battle I'm facing, that's masked behind the music. So for me, since my family's not close by and the students are the closest, it's just setting those tones. Even if I'm in my car, the mood of my car, I just have to make sure there's an element of calm around me. Be that with some lavender spray or a calm atmosphere. I just create calm scenes around me so that whoever's near me doesn't. It's like a buffer between my irritability and my moods and them. So that's what I try to do.
I mean, and that's awesome that Latoya says she's more self-aware based off of what she
Yeah.
had to experience from somebody else, because you don't want to put somebody through your
Yeah.
negative experience that you
Yeah.
had.
And that
So
was that was exactly what I was going to touch on. Definitely use your support system. Explain to them what is going on with your body. This is what's happening. I know that I'm acting out sometimes. I'm not the easiest person to get along with sometimes, but hey, I got this going on. This is
Yep.
what's going
Yep.
on.
Yep.
As a young adult, somebody like Latoya, when her mom was going through it, if she had sat down and actually talked to her and explained, hey, this is what's going on. This is a part of becoming a woman. This is
Yep.
just like, when you begin a cycle, ending the cycle is the same thing. You go through changes. And so, I apologize that there are some times that I am a little irritable. Hey, tell me I'm being today. And I'll try to
Yeah.
remove myself. I'll try to, I'll tell you, hey, I'm a little, it's one of those days.
Yeah.
People understand when you have explained.
Yeah.
Hmm. And it's like, or it's just about compromising. I may be having night sweats and I require a fan and an air conditioner on. That means I might get you a weighted blanket so you can stay warm while I'm out here freezing the whole house down.
Right.
Can you discuss the choice not to do HRT? Is that the hormone therapy?
Therapy replacement.
Okay, we talked about that for a little bit, but can you dive just a little bit of it again? So for those who just came in, um,
Okay, so um, there are pros and cons. If you are a person when you went through menopause and you are having severe pains, you are having, you know, tiredness to the point that you cannot function throughout the day.
mhm,
Um, your body is going through any changes that you just, it's just overwhelming to you,
mhm,
then I would always say go to the doctor and try the hormone therapy
right,
replacement. Um, if you are having mild symptoms and it is beginning and you are starting to see those changes happen, I would at that point try some over the counter things.
mhm.
And kind of see if that calms you down, if that helps you. And if it does, then you don't have to progress to a hormone replacement pill. If be honest with yourself, because the best thing you can do is take care of you.
Right.
So nobody can tell you what's right or wrong for hormone replacement therapy. Try the over the counter, try some, holistic things. And if it does not work, then, have a conversation with your
Yeah.
doctor and say, hey, I tried this, this, and this. And, do you have any suggestions? And if not, then move on to hormone replacement
And like
therapy.
Leslie said, just based off of what it is, it may not be something for her, but it might be something for someone else that wants to take that on because they
Yeah.
need it. It's about
Yes.
the need. What happens when both partners are active in menopause? You pray. Okay,
Yes. Yes.
that's what you do.
Yes. Yeah.
You, I mean, but I
You get
think, and that's I've honestly just
somebody sits on the couch.
right. Seeing an herbalist, definitely seeing an
Yes.
herbalist, because that we were saying
Yes.
earlier, there are natural remedies out here that we can try. So you don't have to. The HRT is not your first option. It doesn't have to be unless you want it to be. So yeah, explore those other options like an herbalist and see what you can do to balance out what's happening inside of your body. Chakra cleansing.
Yeah.
Our
Yeah.
founder is Nicole Lanier says chakra cleansing. Go to
Yeah.
Nicole. She will cleanse your chakras.
Yes. Okay.
But
Nicole.
there are holistic ways, there are spiritual ways, and I really wish that Kenyatta would have been on the call because I wanted to talk about the womb care and honoring the womb when you're going through this process, and that's what she was speaking to, and celebrating it. I want to go back to celebrating where you are and taking time to celebrate the process and throwing a spiritual party, a actual party, or just understanding that this is a beautiful time. It's nothing to fear. It's nothing to be dreadful about. It's nothing to be
Right.
sad about. It's a beautiful experience
Let's
if you
normalize
allow
it
it
being
to
a
be.
grown woman, honey. Let's
It's like
normalize it.
that grown woman level. Like you reach that
Yes.
grown woman level, whether you were forced into it, whether you
Yes.
happen naturally, you're in a place in your life, and it should be celebrated, right?
It should. It should.
Yep.
I laugh
Yep.
all the time. I always said growing up, like, what's the age when you can just say whatever you want to say and nobody can say anything to you? Honey, that's that age. You can say
Today,
whatever you want to say and what?
who gonna check me,
Listen,
boo?
my body has
Exactly.
gone through all of the changes. I've
Exactly.
earned this place.
I earned it, honey. I'm on my grown woman. So yes,
That's it.
let's
That's
celebrate.
it. That
And
part.
be easy on yourself. That's definitely also a big one.
Definitely.
We're going
Yep.
to be talking about that next month. Being easy on yourself and giving yourself grace. I'm going to talk about that a little bit later. But what are some supportive things that you can look for? Any groups? Any books? Like, what are some things out there that that you know of that worked for you, or that's just out there? Period, to give someone support that's going through menopause.
Well, I looked for affirmation videos. Happen to be a client of Herbalife. I do Herbalife shakes. And they do this morning PD where they give you motivational videos and affirmation videos, and they share them quite a bit. So that led me to go find my own. I created a playlist of music that makes me feel happy.
Mm-hmm.
Scents, aromas, incense, lavender, jasmine, aromatherapy, affirmation videos, and they are the love languages so that you know what makes your heart feel good.
Mm-hmm.
But just investing in what makes yourself happy, I would encourage people to reach out to those things that make you happy. Like I'm actually sitting in a makeshift studio, art studio, when I'm feeling funky about my body and the changes that are coming, I get to doing something creative and something that makes me smile. Because sometimes it's not easy to accept, even though we embrace it. There are days when, wow, I'm getting older. Wow, this changes. Pick yourself up. Do something that puts love in front of whatever you're going through. There are tons of resources online, but that's what I
Yeah.
do. Anything affirming or loving,
What
like
about you, Ramil? What are some resources for women going through menopause?
So, like she said online, social media is the rage. You type in anything and you will find someone who has that going on, and there is a place for you.
yeah.
So just
Facebook,
creating
Instagram,
community, creating
yes, you
community.
can. And I saw somebody ask about a lesbian group of support for women. Definitely, you can Google, you can go on Facebook. There's a website called circlesup.com.
Mm-hmm.
That is literally, when you go onto the website, it has a search bar that'll say find your circle. You can literally
Wow.
type in anything, and there you go, anything, and find your circle of people.
Another one that I found was queermenopause.com. So again, that's queermenopause.com. It is a resource page for all things queer and menopause. So if you're looking something specifically for our community, they are doing that work. That way you don't feel alone, and you again find that community of people who understand where you are and what you're going through, especially as a queer person.
Love it.
Um, I can say whatever I want when I'm in menopause. So you have definitely been saying whatever you want for a really long time. Menopause has nothing to do with that, Tawana. Um, has nothing to do with that. We do have a few minutes left. What are some closing remarks that you want to leave the people with in reference to menopause?
Embrace it. It's coming. Just like we looked forward to our teeth fall now. Oh, the tooth fairy gonna give me some money. We mom mothers look forward to their babies walking. We look forward to 10 and 13, 18, sweet 16, debutante, turning 21. We look forward to turning 21 and being legally an adult. So this is part of being an adult. And I would encourage you to follow Lucy's idea, have a party. Like you
Mm-hmm.
gonna make me go ahead on and have a whole menopause party.
Girl,
Yes.
When I
invite
go
me,
to the
girl. I
doctor
promise.
and I get my results and she say it's official, you official, then I'm going to take myself to dinner. I'm going to treat myself like a good grown lady should. Embrace your body, embrace the change, love yourself, cry with yourself, laugh with yourself, pull some creativity out of it. Draw a womb. Take the red that represents blood and do something with that. Make some art. Speak to your body. So
That's good
celebrate. That's what
ideas.
I say. Yeah.
What about you, Ramil?
Feel the feels.
Feel the
Feel the feels.
All right.
Embrace every part of it. No matter what, that's something that you will never go through again. So
Mhm.
feel the feels. Embrace, love yourself. Be
Feel the
patient
fear.
with yourself.
I like
That's the most important thing. Be patient with yourself.
Mhm.
Understand that you are unique and no two people is ever the same. Your experience may not be someone else's, but guess what? It may help somebody later. So you feel those feels, love yourself, embrace yourself, and be happy to be a woman.
Okay. And I think that I want to walk away with be open and honest about where you are. It's
Yes.
okay to have the conversation about being in menopause. There's nothing to hide, there's nothing to be ashamed of. And honor your womb. Your womb has brought you through so much in your life to get to this place that it's in. So honor it, celebrate it, love it, thank it for carrying you this far, right?
Yes.
Um, and
Yep.
yeah, have open and honest conversations because we have nieces, we have daughters, we have little cousins, we have
Yeah.
women that's coming up that's going to be going through this, and we don't want to have them have the misinformation or the lack of information that was brought onto us. We want to do better by them. So
Yep.
by doing better by yourself, you're doing better for everyone else involved, right? So I think that's where I would say that I would want to leave people with and like remember that part. Create a tribe, create a menopause tribe. Have people that you can talk to that understands what you're going through, and you guys can share war stories or share your celebrations, and give feed off of each other, right? I definitely want to thank you both for joining us in this conversation, Leslie and Ramil. And
Thank you.
Ramil, it was one piece of your bio that you left off, and I was going to let you slide, but Latoya is not. What is that one piece you left off?
What?
I didn't hear you say about your organization.
I did. I am the third
Okay.
supreme anti-bossalist of Phi Nu Kappa Sorority Incorporated.
Yes, I thank you for being here. Like when I put out the call, you immediately said yes. So I appreciate your yes. And
We love
Leslie,
Beta Phi Omega. You
yes,
are a necessary part of this community, and so I'm grateful that you had us today, and
yes,
we'll
and
definitely be tuning in for the next series.
yes, we gonna we have to continue to have these conversations. We have to continue to be open with one another and sharing across the table, right?
And
Leslie, you
Asia says
always
I'm her best friend. Hi, Asia.
Leslie always says yes to everything, and
Of
I
course.
appreciate
Of course.
Leslie being open because I asked a couple of people who I know is going through menopause, and they weren't ready to have that conversation publicly. And you said immediately, yes, we can do it. And so
Yes.
I thank you for being bold and brave to say, this is where I am, this is who I am, and I'm unapologetic and unashamed to talk
Absolutely.
about it. We need
Absolutely. It's a
more of
pleasure.
that.
Yep. Anytime.
So thank you guys for coming. Next month we having our third conversation. We started off talking about body positivity. Now we're talking about being positive about where you are in your life in menopause. And next month we're going to be talking about giving yourself grace. We have been through a lot.
Sure.
People judge our bodies in every way, our minds. So let's take a little moment and say, you know what? Don't be so hard on yourself. Give yourself a little bit of grace. And we have a lovely panel for you next month to have that conversation. Again, thank you guys for coming. Tune in next month, June 18th, same time, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard, talking about giving yourself grace. You guys have a great night. Thank you for
Thank
joining
you. Bye
me.
bye.
Bye. Love